Hello everyone, my name is Lucatak, and in case you're wondering, when I always think about Japanese things, it's always either Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon. But in this video, we're going to be talking about a game that quite needs a little bit more recognition nowadays, and that game is Pocky Rocky, a game that was originally released in Japan as Kiki KaiKai, Nazo no Kuro Manto. This game was released in 1992 in Japan and 1993 for North America. Pocky Rocky is a favorable game of mine, but there are a lot of things I have to talk about this game. So today, I decided to do an SNES review on Pocky and Rocky. Let's get into it. The story of Pocky and Rocky is basically simple as it gets. Our story begins with a bunch of yokai just playing around out near the Manto shrine, but until a shrine maiden by the name of Pocky, or known in Japan as Sayo-chan, pretty much stops them, pretty much ending their fun. But then, Pocky's friend, a tanuki named Rocky, comes and tells her that all of his yokai friends have all been possessed by some sort of evil creature. For me, the story is pretty basic as it gets, but unlike the damsel in distress formula in Mario and Goemon and probably Zelda, I guess, Pocky and Rocky basically takes things on a different level. They notice that there's danger going on, that as they can tell from all the evil yokai, and that's basically on how our adventure basically begins at this moment. Visually, the cutscenes in Pocky Rocky are really good for its time. But what I've heard online is that Pocky Rocky is considered to be a very expensive game, probably about $200 or $300 for a loose copy, which I don't have that type of money. But one day I will. But speaking of money, we gotta talk about gameplay, and that is coming up next. Pocky Rocky is basically a bullet hell shooter, or in many ways, a shmup, or shoot 'em up. You basically play as either Pocky Rocky, basically when you see the character select screen, and with Pocky you can throw basically cards, while with Rocky you throw leaves. Basically, Pocky controls or represents the card design, while Rocky basically represents the nature of Japan. But anyway, Pocky Rocky is not an easy game. You will be dying multiple times. And that is pretty obvious for games back in the 80s and 90s, because the games did that back then so they can try to extend playtime for the player who basically bought the game. Which I hope so, because like Pocky Rocky is an expensive game, like oh my goodness. But anyway, Pocky Rocky is basically you go from stage to stage, usually having a boss at the end of each level. And basically, once you kill the boss, your points tally up with time limit, and basically your health increases by 1 at the end of each level, meaning that you must have a lot of health by the time you get to the end. Plus, there's also a lot of health items and bombs to help you on your journey. It's basically a solid shoot 'em up, and I kind of recommend it. But anyway, once we defeated our first boss by the name of named Zuzu, we later learned that we heard from Zuzu that prior to the events of the game, probably about a night, him and all the other yokai were basically all having a good picnic and having a party. But then they basically meet this. Then they eventually see this evil creature, who's wearing, once again, like in the title, in the Japanese version, a black mantle, meaning that yes, there is an evil person. But however, Zuzu got zapped by the black mantle basically before he could talk to him, meaning that Pocky Rocky knew that something is wrong around their area. Basically, now with stage 1 out of the way, I can't wait for what stage 2 is gonna give us. I wonder what it would be like. Oh, never mind. We're already in stage 2. This stage 2 is called the Chaotic Forest. And oh my goodness, this has some of the best stage music I ever heard in a Pocky Rocky game, or at least a Kiki KaiKai game in that matter. The vibes of the stage is so good, with tons of monkeys to battle against, and even these weird girls with long necks coming out of temples. But hey, I think that's all part of Pocky Rocky's charm. It's kind of like Goemon, with its own goofy and cartoonish way of basically feudal Japan, or old Edo period Japan. But I don't know what Pocky Rocky is based off. I know it's definitely not from the Edo period. Probably just basically like very old Asia. But once after we defeat this ogre that's blocking our path, we can finally move on to the rest of the stage. And this is where we get to beat our boss. And our boss is this really tall bamboo stick, which in fact, in case you're wondering, this boss is like extremely easy, like so easy that you can basically just shoot your cards right at him, and you'll instantly win. Oh, just watch out for some enemies and him shooting leaves at you, or else you're basically set. Otherwise, we later realized that oh, this has to be the boss of the stage, right? But no, it is not the boss. In fact, it's just a mini boss this whole time, kind of like the ogre we battled earlier. But don't worry, once we get to the end of the stage, we should be fine. I hope so. So now that we're on this floating raft now we have a ton of Kappas now trying to attack us. Wait, I thought the Nopino goblins were supposed to help us. Who's controlling all of this? And then we realized this giant octopus that has basically snake tentacles are basically trying to stop us. This boss is pretty hard, let's be honest, for me at least. I always had to wait for the octopus's head to show up so I can just shoot it rapidly so I can finally kill it. But otherwise, it's basically an easy boss if you have the patience for it. Is it me, or does the boss look a lot like delicious takoyaki? Sorry, I'm just saying. But anyway, like I said, while waiting for the octopus's head is cumbersome. In fact, you only got a little bit of a chance to even hit his head, mostly because he's spraying rapid water at you, and it takes a ton of damage. So make sure to watch out, basically. But after a little bit of patience, boom, we finally defeated the octopus, and now we are off to the third stage. Let's go. But first, a cutscene first. What we eventually hear from the Nopino goblins, or the Kappas, is that the Black Mantle basically is on the loose again. And now, basically, what they heard is that more Nopino goblins are trapped somewhere in a haunted house. So that's where Pocky Rocky has to go, and I'm guessing that's where the setting for Stage 3 is on its way. Wow, Stage 3 is also pretty visually impressive, not in the music department, but in the visuals, wow, it reminds me a lot like the Lost World, the spooky Lost World from Donkey Kong Country 2, but I'm being off track here. But anyway, we battle against a boss, and man, why a boss so early in the stage? It's been like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 minutes now. He basically is an easy boss, and basically he disappears after. Wow, what a great start. Ugh. I think that kind of shocked a lot of people back then, and being surprised too. But anywho, once after we dodged this ghost guy's like fire and stuff, he basically disappears and the doors open to the haunted house. I wonder what's in there. Let's find out. So basically, in the haunted house, we basically battle against a couple of bats, and later on, this is a very surprising twist that doesn't match the style of Pocky Rocky at all, is that there's a genie as a mini-boss. This is so weird. I always think this is weird. When I saw it, I went like, hold on, what type of culture is this game based off? Is it Japan? China? Korea? India? I have no idea what's going on, but I think that's just part of the fun anyway. So basically, after killing the genie, and actually being a complete idiot, killing myself in between the wedges of rocks, I think I have a good feeling that we're basically towards the end of the level. I hope it better not be that ghost robot again. Who is it? Bruh, really? It's like the same simple stupid boss again. Unbelievable. But anyway, we later learned that basically the Goemon goblins, I believe. Jeez, I forgot the name. But anyway, the Black Mantle, basically we learned is that the Black Mantle basically cursed a spell all over the Nopino goblins. It's making them evil. Now, without any waste of a minute, Pocky Rocky continued their journey, and now they're off to Stage 4, where we get to fly onto the flying airship. I can't wait because I love the airship levels in Mario 3. Wow, this pirate ship, or pirate airship, is actually surprisingly well detailed. Like, my goodness, there's like an evil pirate trying to get after us, there's like so many things to dodge, it's pure fun. Like I said, this really inspires me, this really looks a lot like Final Fantasy and Donkey Kong Country 2. Man, I don't know if Taito or Natsume are really pulling all the stuff from certain video game developers, jeez. But anyway, I actually kind of like the bird boss battle at the end. Like, again, he looks a lot like a Final Fantasy character, like I'm saying. But even then, his attack pattern is also dangerous, as he shoots out a lot of feathers at you. Thank goodness I actually have Game Genie Codes on, basically, to beat this boss, because I would have never stand a chance against him. And what about you? Have you ever used Game Genie Codes? I noticed a little bit of a pattern with this boss, is that I think Pocky Rocky is actually a lot more fun when playing with two-player mode. Basically, it's trying to help each other and basically defeat all the bosses by one to defend your own friend and basically the one to attack the enemy. It's such a good idea, but really, I was playing this off an emulator, so basically I had to play the single-player mode. Sorry. And like the Legend of the Mystical Ninja, Pocky Rocky does not have a built-in save battery onto the cartridge, meaning that basically, if you reset your console or basically die, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. And it's unlike Pocky Rocky, the Legend of Mystical Ninja, where it has a password system. No, there's no password systems in Pocky Rocky. So basically, you gotta be really careful on how your movement is. After defeating the bird, Pocky Rocky finally made it to the Black Mantle's castle. Phew, finally, but not for long, as the Black Mantle is basically watching them via his crystal ball. Now, the real battle is about to begin. Let's go! Oh, here's a little bit of a tidbit as we enter the castle. If you press the B button on the Super Nintendo controller, Pocky will basically pull out her magical stick, or other shrine object, and basically you can even charge it for a rapid spin Beyblade style. And basically with Rocky the raccoon is basically the same, but basically with his tail. Like I said, it's good for basically dodging a lot of projectiles, but that's only in the two-player mode, in my opinion. I think it's a little useless outside, like having fun with it, I guess. But anyway, after defeating some good old Donkey Kong knockoffs and seeing our ghosts and the Pino Goblins trapped in cages, we basically entered this really odd industrial zone. Like I said, I love the vibes here. Basically, overall, all the vibes in the game are actually pretty good, and I kind of like that. But anyway, what's for the boss then? Hold on, is that Dracula from Castlevania? No, it can't be. They can't be copying Konami. Oh, and in fact, he basically wants to use Pocky for his experiments for the Black Mantle. Okay, basically average. So anyway, we basically avoid a ton of Dracula's white bat minions. I hope they're not sick or anything. And finally, we kick Dracula's butt and basically fry him to death. And now, we should be off to Black Mantle soon. We later see a scene where Pocky Rocky basically free all the little Pino Goblins out of the cages, and telling them to scram and head back to the shrine as soon as possible to stay safe. That's what I always say, and I'm being real here. You never ever give up. But anyway, the final stage looks a lot like a royal church, and I kind of like the design of it. And also the enemies look like directly come out of several Square Enix games, including characters from Final Fantasy. And guess what? You won't even believe this, but the mini-boss before we battle against the Black Mantle is, yep, I know what you're saying is, a knight that almost looks like exactly it came from Dragon Quest. Honestly, I have only played 10 minutes of the first Dragon Quest game. I would love to play more of the Dragon Quest games, though. I love Dragon Warrior so far in the first 10 minutes, but I don't know. Can you recommend me any good Dragon Warrior games or Dragon Quest games down in the comments? Okay, after defeating this somewhat easy Dragon Quest Knight-looking mini-boss, it looks like it's finally time. It's time to take on the legend himself. It's the Kuro Manto, aka the Black Mantle. Exact! Basically, the Black Mantle basically says to us that he underestimates us, but he knows that he's gonna kill us. But don't worry, I already got this boss fight literally burned into my brain. But anyway, there are tons of ways on how you can kill him. First, I always recommend you trying to destroy those goblin statues shooting fireballs on the sides that's holding his crypto cage or something. So basically destroy those, and then after that, go for Black Mantle. Black Mantle's basically pattern is somewhat simple overall, but that doesn't mean that it's easy though. It's really hard to get his hit spot because of how many things he's going on screen. For one, first he'll basically shoot basically a ton of ice and fireballs, and then he'll shoot basically 2 purple shadow balls trying to capture you, and then after that he will spark a huge, massive lightning ray at you. Basically, try to dodge all of his attack as much as you can because is going to be tough. And yes, after finally killing the Black Mantle, I say it's time to finally wrap this up. Now with the Black Mantle dead, all the Nopino goblins that were originally possessed by him, the spell has finally been broken. And now, the Nopino goblins are back to normal. Pocky Rocky told them that the curse is over, and now they're back being free. Now that the Black Mantle is gone, basically the Nopino goblins can finally live in peace. And Pocky can head back to his shrine as being a shrine maiden again and hoping to have good dreams tonight. Overall, Pocky Rocky is a game that I will never ever forget. It is a game that I think it has so many similarities to Goemon, but also has some similarities to other third-party companies like Square Enix and even Natsume and others. Wait, hold on. Natsume is already the publisher of this game. What do I mean? But anyway, overall, so what do I think about this game? Overall, Pocky Rocky is like Goemon. It's fun, it's catchy, has some good tracks, and has a lot of good replay value. But unlike Legend of Mr. Ninja, I recommend you playing Game Genie Codes with Pocky Rocky as it's really tough. Natsume really went all out with this game, and overall, I would give Pocky Rocky a solid 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect game, but at least it's playable and fun. I recommend it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a like, comment what you thought about it, and of course, subscribe to my channel. Hope you have a good day, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.